everybody. I miss you so much today. I've been working hard on the computer to get some things ready for you to learn at home, to do on your computers or your tablets. And I was just working away on my computer, and then I thought, I sure miss my kindergarten friends. Even though we cannot be together in person right now, I love making these videos for you so that you can see my face, and I love having meeting times when we FaceTime or when we talk on the phone or when we do our Zoom meetings when I can see your face too. But I miss my friends, and this book today is called You Are My Friend. And it says up here, it says the story of Mr. Rogers and his neighborhood. And if you're in my kindergarten class, you probably know this. We love to sing songs by Mr. Rogers. We sing, "It's You I Like." We sing that one. We sing, "Won't You Be My Neighbor." We sing lots of songs by him. And we've also just started writing poetry and using some of his poems as inspirations. But this is actually a story. It's a true story about Mr. Rogers, the real person. But it's not written by him. It's written by somebody named Aimee Reid, and the pictures are by Phelan. And this is actually a kind of story, a type of genre of stories, which is called a biography. Can you say that big word with me? Biography. And a biography is a true story with true information that somebody else wrote about another somebody else. So this one's about Mr. Rogers. It looks like maybe it's about when he was a little boy, or maybe when he was growing up. And we're gonna find out what we learn about his life together. So I'm gonna get started. Just like at school, you'll know that I have a hard time reading words when I hold the book this way and look from the side. And so I will hold the book down in my lap like this. I will use my handy dandy magnifier to make the words bigger for my eyes to see easier. And then I will turn the picture and turn it this way so that you can see all the details on the pictures and in the words, because that's what good readers do. They use their best eagle eyes to look at pictures, look at words, look at sounds, and look at all the details they can find. Because at school, like you know, we were just talking about this in kindergarten. When you look at the pictures, when you read the words, when you do both at the same time, then your brain starts thinking and you can make some inferences about what you hear in the story. So let's get started. You are my friend. Okay. In the springtime, when everything was growing and green, Freddie Rogers had to stay inside. Oh, why did he have to stay inside, I wonder? Let's see. Flowers made him sniffle. Plants made him sneeze. Freddie had allergies. Have you ever heard your mom or dad maybe say something like, "I have allergies"? Freddie had allergies. Freddie had other illnesses too. He spent many days in bed. Sometimes he had to stay inside for weeks at a time. Being sick made it hard to make friends. I'll give you a close-up look. This book kind of reminds me of our lives right now, even though not all of us are sick. Some people are sick, and that's why we're all having to stay at home so that we don't give each other our germs. And it looks like when Freddie was little, he had to stay inside if he was sick for a long time. Did you hear that last part on this page? It said, being sick made it hard to make friends. I'm thinking about my life right now. I'm connecting this book to my life, and I'm thinking about how I miss my friends. I wonder if you do too. Let's see what happened next. Often, when Freddie felt sad or mad, lonely or scared, he kept his feelings inside, but he wanted someone to know how he felt. Freddie found that he could talk about his feelings with puppets. He gathered them around him on his bed. That way, it seemed as though he was with a whole group. Here's the picture. Oh, he loved his puppets. I bet he kind of felt like his puppets were his friends. He felt like he was with a whole group. When Freddie went to school, sometimes he was bullied. Ooh, that means people were mean to him. Neighborhood boys yelled mean words at him as they chased him down the street. Oh, how scary. Do you see that? They're chasing him and he's trying really hard to get away. I would be so scared if I was him. Grown-ups told Freddie to pretend that the mean words didn't hurt him, but they did. Hiding his feelings didn't work. They just grew stronger. What do you think that means? They grew stronger, his feelings. Did they get bigger? Did they take up more space in his brain and in his body? I know when I feel upset and I don't let my feelings out, it overwhelms me a little bit. It makes me, I don't know what to do. Let's see. Oh, I see a little sneak peek into maybe what's coming in the story. Do you know what that is? That looks like he's heading toward a piano. Let's see what happens. Freddie found it difficult to speak out about his feelings, but he learned he could express them on the piano. If he was angry, he played loud, low notes that sounded like thunder. He played high, sweet notes for happiness. Freddie felt better after he shared his feelings through his music. Everybody has different ways of sharing their feelings, don't they? Some people do it through the art they make. Some people use their voice to talk. Some people cry or show their feelings in a different way through their facial emotions. He used his piano. Here's a sneak peek at the next page before I read it. Freddie's mother gave him a way to deal with his worried feelings. She told him to look for people who were helping. Freddie began to look for all the helpers right in his own neighborhood. He liked to visit Mama Belle Frampton. Who's that, I wonder? She welcomed him and showed him how to make toast sticks all by himself. Freddie liked the good feeling of learning something new from his neighbor. Those important words I'm thinking on that his mom told him to look for the helpers. Do you think this lady was being a helper by teaching him something new? I think so. Toast sticks. I want some toast sticks right now. His grandfather, McPhelan, was an important friend. Fred loved to visit his grandparents' farm with his big stone wall. Take a look at this big stone wall. Now, I'm just connecting something. In the Mr. Rogers show, there is somebody named McPheely. And in his story, which is true information, remember this is a biography, there's a grandfather, McPheely. Kind of wondering, in his show that he made, was that character that was named McPheely, was it based on his grandfather? Did he think about his grandfather and think, I want a character like my grandfather in my show? Let's see. The big stone wall on his farm. One day, Fred went into the room where all the adults were talking. No one looked his way. Fred asked if he could walk on the big stone wall. Then everyone looked his way. He wanted to walk on that wall? Like on top of it, maybe? Most of the grown-ups said, no, you might get hurt. But Grandpa McPheely said yes. Fred climbed and walked and then even ran on the wall. Look at that. Now, if you find a stone wall like that, you might check with your grown-ups to make sure that's something that's safe. I think Fred's Grandpa McPheely knew that this was safe because there was grass down below. You might check that out before you try something like that. He even ran on it. When at last Fred came back inside, he had a skinned knee, but he was happy. His grandpa told Fred that he liked him just the way he was. He said Fred was special and that just by being himself, Fred made the day special too. Fred let those words sink deep inside of him. As he thought about them, he felt braver. What a special person to tell him, I like you just the way you are. He felt brave. He began to speak up. He tried new things. He reached out and made friends, even with people who weren't like him. Take a close look. Do all these people look the same to you? And just like Fred? I don't think so. Even with people who were not just like him. I think that's important. One day, when Fred was grown up, he saw a television program. People were throwing pies at each other, in each other's faces. Fred did not like the pie throwing, but he thought television could be wonderful. What if, instead of showing people fighting, TV could show people helping one another. Right then, Fred decided that was what he wanted to do. He wanted to make a show that showed people helping others. Good thought. Fred created a television show for children. He remembered all of the people who had helped him as he was growing up. He thought of his neighbor, Mama Belle Frampton, who was always glad to see him. He wanted to share that good feeling with children everywhere. Fred wrote a happy, welcoming song to sing at the beginning of each show. He called his program Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And he called the people who watched it his neighbors. Have you ever watched one of his shows? He says, "Hello, neighbor." And at the beginning, he sings, "Won't you be my neighbor?" We like that one. At first, Fred felt shy to be in front of the camera, but he found out that his grandpa was right. Just by being himself, Fred made his show special. Fred told stories with puppets. He played music that he wrote. He invited helpers to show what they liked to do or explain how things worked. Fred took his television camera to visit a farmer who had milk cows. He asked a friend to show how people dig with big machines. I'll show you those pictures before I go on. There's the farm, the milk cows, and digging with big machines. What else? Another helper played the cello, and another shared how to cook. I'm pretty sure he had some pretty famous people on his show, but then just some everyday people too, to show things. Fred explained to his neighbors that feelings were important. You could talk about them, or you could show your feelings in other ways. Do you remember how he showed his feelings? He played his piano. If you were mad, you could pound clay or run fast. You ever felt so mad that you wanted to pound something? Or run really fast. If you were sad, you could sing a song, soft and low. If you were happy, you could dance. Fred helped people learn to like themselves. He helped them to be good neighbors. Fred never forgot how his grandpa made him feel. Over and over, he would look right into the camera and pass along the important words that changed his life. Oh, here's his words. Are you ready for them? Get ready. These are important words. Oops, let me turn this back on. Get ready for those important words. Okay, here they come. You've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. If you're a kindergartner in my class, you might know that we're starting to write some poetry, and we read one of his poems that's called I Like You How You Are, or I Like You the Way You Are, I think. These are some words from that poem. I'm gonna read them again. So important these words are. You've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. that's the end. But do you know what? There's Mr. Rogers. He said that on his show every day. I like you just the way you are. And then there's these notes. It says a brief biography of Fred Rogers. And it has all this information about his life, just like we read in this story. And then it also says author's note. And this is a note from Aimee Reid. So maybe we'll read those together another time. But in this book, there's also an illustrator's note. There's also, there's a list of other books about Mr. Rogers. We might have to check those out another time. But I want you to notice something on the very back of this book. Do you see Mr. Rogers right there? Who is he talking to? He's talking to kids. All sorts of different kids. And that's because he thought kids were so special. And I want to leave you with this important message. I think you're so special too. And I miss all of my friends, but I know that you are doing good things wherever you are. You are being a friend to other people. And I want you to know I like you just the way you are. I'll see you later. Bye.